Hello there, everyone. Welcome to a special segment here on the Southern Tomfoolery Network. We're calling this Southern Tomfoolery Unscripted. It's a show where we will invite guests on for deep dive interviews. I'm joined by Zac Evans. You know him as Oren, and he will be my co-host for this show. How you doing, Zac?
I am fantastic, Adam. Fantastic. So our guest this week is a multi-talented artist and writer at Paizo Inc., author of Book 2 of Against the Aeon Throne, among others, semi-professional entomologist, lover of Tokyo street fashion, and all-around awesome person, Miss Eleanor Ferron. Welcome.
Hey!
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thank you for agreeing to be here and let us pick your brain. Thanks so much. Long-time listener, first-time caller, huh?
Something like that.
Right. So, the first couple of questions I want to ask you, Eleanor, are just about your background and stuff like that. So, I think you've mentioned before that your background is in art. You're now working as a writer for Paizo, and no doubt have other creative talents as well. So, across your various disciplines, what real-world insect have you drawn the most inspiration from?
Probably moths.
Moths.
And nice sort of swerve there at the last second.
Yeah,
like there was a deer in your headlights. Like spun the wheel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like moths. They're basically the bunnies of the insect world. But they're also reasonably colorful if you look for the right ones. Although most people usually find, yet another brown one that's probably in their closet. But
yeah, that's where you see most of them. More than.
I think that moths are often underrated. I have seen a couple like really beautiful ones, and I think you're right that a lot of people just associate them with just your closet moths, and there's some really, really beautiful ones out there. That's an interesting choice.
Yeah, obviously they have sort of a disadvantage in that they show up when it's dark and you can't see anything and everyone's asleep, but you can find some really good pictures for people who go out into the wilderness and take pictures with the camera.
Would it be called moth watching? Is that the technical term for it? Is there like
I think they call it mothing.
Mothing.
Just
That's way
mothing.
cooler.
Yeah.
That's way cooler, man. Yo, I'm going mothing, dude. You want to come? Sounds like a party, dude. I'm there. Okay. Sorry.
I feel like this is something we should have known about, like growing up, being from the South. I feel like this has South activity written all over it.
Yeah, South's got all the good moths. Up here, where it's cold, like nothing wants to stick around. But you've got all like the big ones.
Well, the problem, Eleanor, is that we have those nice, beautiful big moths, but because it's hot, and we also have the big other insects that are horrible.
Mosquitoes.
Yeah. My dad used to live in Texas for a little bit, and he'd claim that if you dropped a brick on the cockroaches there, they'd pick it up and fling it back at you.
Yes.
Wow, I bet. I mean, there are some big cockroaches, but I don't know if they could fling a brick. But I wouldn't be surprised. Everything's bigger in Texas, you know what I mean? So it's possible. I'm not ruling it out. That's great. That's awesome. I knew that you were into insects, and moth, that's a great answer. Overshadowed by butterflies, but undeserved, in your opinion, huh?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with butterflies either. Just some pretty excellent ones.
Do you try to slip moth-type references into your... I know you have an NPC named Moth Kala, right?
Yeah, that was more of just sort of me mashing keys because I don't like naming sci-fi things. That was a happy coincidence.
So much of fantasy writing and naming things is a little bit of key mashing, right?
Alphabet soup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try and keep it pronounceable because I think everyone here knows, except for the crab.
Yeah, I'm gonna take umbrage with that because you specifically have a creature in this book that is unpronounceable by description. even the other NPCs are like, this is too tongue twisty for me to even say. I think we got it, though. I think we got it. I'm not going to try it now. I'll butcher it. I don't have it in front of me. But, yeah.
I mean, occasionally I like to remind people that Starfinder's letting them off easy. You don't have to use, like, clicking tongues to talk to anything. You don't have to wave your arms in the proper positions while speaking, or else the context totally gets lost. You don't have to see in, like, 567 colors to try and understand this art or the poster on the wall. Starfinder's really, just letting you off here.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Fantastic point. That's
it does use all characters that we're familiar with, at least,
Well, the emojis was a nice a nice curveball. I think I wasn't expecting that. Communicating via emojis. But
I mean, it's the modern day hieroglyphics.
Right.
No, I agree with you, and I have my own opinions as someone with an English degree. I have my own opinions about emojis being the death of language, but whatever. We'll move on. So, when I was 16, I loved to rollerblade, and then I got a job as a skating car hop at Sonic, and I never wanted to skate again. So with that in mind, do Paizo employees still find time to play RPGs? And if so, what games, if any, are you currently in? And what character or characters are you currently playing?
So we try to find time to play games. Succeeding at that is not necessary. The spirit is willing, flesh and chronological momentum.
Sure. Yeah, there you go. Right.
But I am playing in Pathfinder First Edition game, of all things.
Sure.
The one least relevant to my job at this current junction. On Mondays, usually, if it doesn't get canceled, because half the players are out, because we're all adults, and that's what happens. But yeah, we're playing the Adventure Path Return of the Rune Lords. I never played Rise of the Rune Lords, so this is sort of... I'm sort of not part of this returning here, as far as I know. These are the only Rune Lords I've heard of, but yeah, I'm playing a Catfolk Paladin in that.
Okay.
And,
cool.
Yeah.
I've never played Pathfinder First Edition, so is Paladin mostly the same as like a 5e Paladin?
It's got similarities. I never played a 5e Paladin. I've only gotten a chance to play 5e once, and I was a ranger, so I'm not 100%.
Whoops.
Sorry. Really showing the loyalty to Paizo, though. You know what I mean? You got a rep.
Well, I mean, it's good to keep an eye on the competition, but...
Absolutely. Sure. Definitely. Yeah.
But yeah, again, with the forward momentum through fourth dimensional space, it's a limiting factor.
Absolutely. Okay, so just a PF1E game, but you work on Starfinder and some 2E?
I actually mainly work on second edition. I'm in charge of the Lost Omens campaign setting guides.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how much you've been following those, but me and Luis Loza.
Yeah, I've been gobbling them up.
Spams our group chat with new stuff about it all the time. Yeah, so we're up to date. We're up to date.
Yeah, me and Luis Loza and usually Mark Seifter as the designer are sort of in charge of doing those books. So.
Oh, that's awesome! I've really been enjoying like digging into all the lore because basically we're getting in on Pathfinder and its lore on the 2E floor. We listened to GCP and everything and have kind of that got us pulling into that direction, and as a result we're like, okay, 2E's coming out, that's where we're gonna like really dive in. So it's nice for me to get a chance to really get to know the world, especially as a GM, and I'm really excited about all the different like options and possibilities and places that the system can go just within the fantasy of it. I'm really excited about that coming up.
Yeah, you're sort of the intended audience, since these are the books to try and get people into the setting that maybe haven't been part of Pathfinder First Edition, just coming in now. So, yeah, I'm glad to hear you're excited about them.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay. So shifting gears real fast, I just another personal question that I want to ask. In your opinion, Eleanor, why should the world pay more attention to Tokyo street fashion?
Because it's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, is there anything about it that you find yourself drawn to, or anything that you think makes it unique from other styles of fashion?
I mean, I don't follow the fashion world that closely. I generally, it's sort of like, it's kind of its own unique thing. There's like similarities on like Korea or China or that sort of thing. It's just got like all these influences in it that it's its own like very unique on brand sort of thing that I just really like the style of. And it's hard to describe why, because I'm not a fashion person at all. I actively avoided it in high school, and then like as an artist you start to realize you've drawn everybody that you ever illustrated with just a t-shirt and pants, and then you realize you can't do that anymore. But it's just like all these cultural pre-Western influences alongside these Western influences with like this really futuristic cyberpunk sort of stuff that came in the 80s and 90s, and then like elements picked up from these really distinct, almost like gothic bands from the 90s and such, and then moving forward into 2000 and 2010. It's all a lot of different layers to it that I, due to my background, can usually recognize elements of, and so I just like to see what comes out of that big melting pot of influences.
Well, there's a lot of different fashion styles there that all influence, like you said, the Eastern and the Western influences. And there's also like sub-genres of fashion that only exist in Japan. Like, you could not have Western girls walking around in Lolita dresses of age. I just don't think that our culture would be receptive to that. You know what I mean?
Maybe outside of an anime con, but otherwise...
Right.
Well, it's like it almost puts it on a level, when you say it's at a con, and that's like, it treats it as kind of a costume right here in the Western side, where it's like that's just like normal.
Oh yeah,
like,
they just
fashion.
They like,
it's not a costume type situation over there, right?
Well, it sort of is and sort of isn't, because there's definitely like places where you think it's more common to see it. Like everyone probably has school uniforms, so you're not going to see that at school.
Sure.
But like if you're in the fashion district and that sort of thing.
Harajuku, right?
Yeah,
right.
Shinjuku. And especially like I remember my brother went to one of the concerts there as sort of an escort, and just outside of the concert there would be like lockers, and the girls would go and like get out of their school uniforms and change into these like really elegant Gothic Lolita outfits, and that was just how it went. Like,
right, yeah.
That's your evening clothes for this concert, is this extremely frilly, delicate dress.
That has to be extremely expensive as well,
Oh, man. Yeah, when I went to the fashion district, I looked at some of the prices and just noped down out of there.
It's like, this is cool, but it's not worth it. Okay, well, I don't want to spend too much time on that. I just kind of wanted to open up with a couple of questions that weren't specifically related to the AP and all that. But real quick, how did you end up working at Paizo? Because I believe you said that you were trying to start there as an artist or something like that, and ended up getting hired as a writer. What was that?
Not like at Paizo necessarily. I was just trying to break into the industry, like the RPG industry, as an artist, and that was after not getting very far as a history major.
Okay.
So I failed at that, and then I went on to work as an artist for a lot, and didn't do so great at that either. And then, Jessica Price, who was working at Paizo at the time, put out a call for people to apply to these openings, Like especially women, just because women usually see jobs they're qualified for and they're like, I'm not qualified for that. And then like apparently men are just like, yeah, whatever, I'll sign up anyway.
Even if they're not even qualified at all.
Yeah, even if they're in high school, apparently. Like,
Oh my gosh.
I do that for sure. And so she was calling it, it's like, just apply to the stupid thing, even if you're not qualified. So I did. And I didn't get the job because I wasn't qualified. But Wes Schneider, who was the editor, like in chief at the time, he's a big Ravenloft nerd, and so am I. And he liked
us too.
He liked the Ravenloft stuff that I sent in as writing samples. So he suggested that, he might take me on as a freelancer, and that eventually happened. I had to poke him for like 8 months about this. Hey, you said you might take me on as a freelancer. What about that? He's like, oh yeah, I'll get on that. And another 3 months passed and brought him again. But yeah, eventually I did get in on do some writing for the Occult Bestiary. Was my first project for them. And just started freelancing from there. And then like 3 years later or so, they opened up positions for another round of hiring developers, and that's when I applied and got in there.
Awesome. And I guess it's a pretty big, been a pretty good fit so far. I mean, I'm a fan of your work, so. But yes, so speaking of your work, let's get into some Book 2 questions. We've got questions that both myself and some of the other, players in our cast kind of aggregated to just ask a few questions about that, and I think Adam has some specifically like GM related questions for you. So starting with Outpost Z, what were some of your inspirations for Outpost Z? Where did you land on that?
So I think the outline stated just off the bat that it was like an abandoned Aslanti mining station.
Right.
So the first thing I do is look up what a mining a mining plant looks like, because I don't know. So I just go to the Google.
Yeah.
And most of what I got was like this giant pipe-filled network. And so that's where I started going in thinking about, well, maybe all these pipes should still be there, and maybe there's a whole nother city and parts of the station that are connected with these things. Like going into it, because you're going into unfamiliar space here,
right?
And you're trying to track down a bunch of space Nazis,
right?
And going into it, I wanted this place. It wasn't gonna be like this jackbooted fascist nightmare like Gulta was gonna be, but at the same time, I still wanted it to feel really unwelcoming. And in this case, it wasn't because anybody, like, in particular had anything particular against you. I mean, the Drelix tried to murder you, but that's
sure.
just because you were there. Yeah. It wasn't because they had anything, too much against you in particular.
Yeah, nothing personal.
We heard you didn't like asparagus. It's time to die. Yeah.
But, I, a lot of the whole racism stuff isn't just, jackbooted fascist Nazis running around and kicking people.
Right.
It's making you feel really unwelcome. And so
sure.
that's what I was thinking of going into Outpost Z, is everything there wants to make you unwelcome. And the first thing even that you encounter is the door, which doesn't work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I love that little bit, right? Like, it's great because it's just a little tiny mechanical thing. Like, how many different maps as a player or GM do you go on and there's a door and it's either locked or it's not or whatever, and you don't even think about it. It's just like, okay, it's another door, and here it is. This is your entrance to it. And like, what I really liked is that it's built in to have this moment where like other people are going through the door with no problem. Like you're watching other people just breeze through it, and then you go up to the door and it's like, nope, nope.
Yeah, I play tested this one section with some friends, and the person like hacked in to realize what was going on. I was like, so the door is racist. I'm like, yeah, that sums it up pretty much. But the thing is, I got the idea for that because I was watching like this little viral video on Vine or something. I don't know if it was Vine. Vine might have been dead at that point. But I was watching this viral video, and it was this soap dispenser in the men's bathroom that like a bunch of these young black teenagers had gathered around it, and they would wave their hands under it, and it wouldn't give them any soap. And then they waved a white paper towel under it, and it just spat soap
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Like, whoever designed that thing apparently did not have any black people on their QA team. So, lesson learned there, don't skimp on your motion sensors.
Wow.
And also, like, when people say you need diversity in tech, this is the sort of thing you're talking about.
Sure.
Because that would, like, one single black person in your company would have saved you a bit of embarrassment there.
Wow.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking of when you get up to that door is just, like, nobody went out of their way to go, hey, no humans are gonna get into this station. No non-Aslanti filth is gonna get in here. But they were thinking about you, so, and then you just wound up getting the middle finger anyway.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that racism by omission of thought, like just not even thinking about needing to build that into the technology, because it's not something that should be here or would be here. So I don't even care about somebody coming from outside. The only humans that would be here would be Aslanti. So screw them, you know.
Pretty much screw them.
Yeah. You nailed that, because that was definitely a great introduction to Outpost Z, for the party. And I definitely think that I can't speak for everyone, but I know that I felt super alienated and uncomfortable and like completely fish out of water. Like, this is, not a space for Packed World's races. It definitely had that vibe to it. And so if that's what you're going for, I think you nailed it. And I guess Adam nailed conveying that. So.
Yeah. I certainly liked seeing, all the strange things being displayed by all the GMs who are running against the Aeon Ferron on podcasts and stuff.
That actually, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I want you to speak more on that, because that's one of my questions. That in this time, in this age of actual play podcast abundance, you are in this kind of unique position to be able to hear your work interpreted, played, and executed in a variety of ways. Do you enjoy hearing how different groups play through the adventure, or do you find it stressful? Do you listen? I mean...
there actually don't seem to be a whole lot of Against the Aeon Throne podcasts just right now. I think another one cropped up besides you and Cosmic Crit. But
I think No Direction is doing it.
Yeah, well. I think they are. It's just going so slow. But yeah, I do like listening to how other people approach that sort of thing. Like, if I can find it. I'm not a huge podcast person generally. Just something about it's because I can't multitask so great in my brain, and if I'm listening to the podcast, then those are the words in my head. I can't write anything, and if I try and listen to music or look at something else, I stop paying attention to the podcast, and so it just gets kind of frustrating. So this and Cosmic Crit for a while are sort of the main podcasts that I listen to. But if there's something short, like a Starfinder Society scenario, I like to pop in and see how different people reacted to that one.
Yeah, you wrote the first Starfinder Society scenario, right?
Yep.
The introduction to... You wanna plug that real fast? Just, hey,
Go play the commencement. It's fun.
There you go.
Nailed it.
Like one group that I listened to shove some tofu into a car engine to make it go faster, and it worked.
Wow.
Okay.
I guess
you've got me
Nat
interested
20s,
for sure.
Nat 20s do a lot, So, what was your favorite alien race or specific NPC at Outpost Z? Because you've got some real doozies. So I'm wondering, who is your favorite child?
I mean, that's one, you're cruel, and two, 100% the emoji squid.
Oh, yeah. Right.
I mean, they just sort of have an advantage by being like diminutive. They're literally the size of actual like tiny little cuttlefish. But that was actually in honor of a small little friend that I encountered at the Boston Aquarium, a few months before I started writing this AP, and I think that was the first alien race that I created just because of my meeting with that squid, because I had to think about, what are all these strange critters that you're going to be speaking to? Like, what are you going to be running into that you don't know necessarily how to deal with right off the bat? Because a lot of, we try and make familiarity part of our game so we don't alienate the players, and here I am trying to do the opposite instead of make it fun. But I encountered this little cuttlefish at the Boston Aquarium, and they were a couple of them were just bobbing around in the tank. They didn't care about us, and one was like hanging out, just sort of looking at us or something, kind of being a diva and showing off. And then there was one that sort of like snuck up. Like if you watch them, like sometimes they'll sort of like walk on the ground with two little tentacles. I don't even think they're using it to propel them forward. They just sort of like, but one of them just like sort of walked up to the bottom of the tank, and it was changing its skin colors at us when we were watching.
Wow, that's so cool.
I didn't even realize it at first. I thought, like, how swimming pools, the light at the bottom kind of ripples and stuff. Right. At first I thought that was just the light from the tank, but then I realized, it's changing colors. And so, of course, a part of me is like, look at the cuttlefish, it's looking at me, yeah, because I'm one of those people who gets really stupid when something cute shows up.
Right.
but like, a part of me was just not entirely, I almost want to say sad, because, that's how they communicate. And at the same time, we don't know what they're saying. And it occurred to me, we talk about, well, what's it's going to be like if we ever encounter life on other planets. But, this thing in the little tank in front of me, it's an alien. We don't know how to talk to it at all. It's completely foreign to us. We can observe its behavior and all that. But at the same time, I'm never going to know what it wanted to say to me. And that made me just, a little fascinated, a little sad. And so that was why it was the first, alien that I made going into this place is, you're a stranger in a strange land, and you can't necessarily, even the friendliest people, you can't even talk to them.
Well, yeah, Eleanor, I gotta say, I know you have like a limited word count when it comes to like what you're gonna put in to describe all these NPCs, because you got to get everything kind of in the page count, right? And I gotta say that emotion that you just described certainly comes through in your description of Half Red. I mean, there is a sort of sadness and just a wanting to communicate just emanating from that creature in the way that you've described her and everything. Like she's not a hostile creature at all. She's actually probably the friendliest creature on the station, but like she has probably the biggest barrier of communication, because she actually has like meaningful thoughts and emotions that she wants to convey without an ability to do it, at least to the PCs. Now, I guess there are people she can communicate to on the station itself, but I definitely got that and put that into her when we got to her in the book. It's interesting to hear that where it came from.
That's such a cool story. Like that's fantastic background on an NPC and inspiration for him. It's so cool. It's so cool. I really I've just been thinking about that little cuttlefish, and it trying to talk to you, and there's no way for you to know what it was saying or for you to communicate back to it. That's awesome. And I think that really, yeah, like Adam said, came through with Half Red. So my favorite NPC was Bright Crackle Flicker Dim. Despite my professed arachnophobia, I thought it. So I have to know, since I've got both of you here, Adam, were you just embellishing that, or Eleanor, was that dialogue the way that you wrote him to speak?
Because of the limited word counts, there's only like 2 responses written in the book, but those 2 responses are pretty much written like that.
Oh my gosh.
So she definitely laid the groundwork of how this character is supposed to talk.
He had to embellish it once because he kept asking different questions because you like hurting yourself, I guess, but yeah. They talk like that from the...
I know. I knew it. I knew when I was reading through the book, preparing for it before we started, I was like, this is going to be the one NPC that they're going to spend the most time talking to. I guarantee it. And this is going to be the one that I'm going to have to, like, speak like this.
I loved it.
Fun.
Though.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
That we got so many laughs out of that. That was really good stuff.
For sure. Yeah, fantastic.
The play testers that I ran this by also started cracking up with that encounter. So that's definitely a bit of a hit.
Yeah, but it's a great gag.
I did have like some logic behind why they spoke like that. It just
hit me. Please elaborate. I would love to hear this. I really, really would.
So when I was writing them, I was trying to think. I'm trying to think of how to make these people all, like, even the ones that can communicate with you, all so different that, like, it's just off-putting to people because of what I said before. And so in this case, I was trying to think of, like, a species that didn't assume anything based on context. and so, like obviously I can't go all the way with that because that would be literally impossible.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
A human GM. But I'm just like writing these things and thinking is like, well, what is Gulta? It's a moon. Well, is it in this system or is there a Gulta in another system that you're talking about? It's the moon in this system owned by Sardat Ulavestra.
Who is a Sardat because he owns a moon, which is in the Gulta system.
Do you mean he owns this moon that we're talking about right now? Or do you mean another moon that he owns?
It's just like,
he owns this moon.
Yeah, like the way I broke that down was like you always have to put the like adjective qualifier for every noun. Like you have to explain why that noun is in the sentence. You know what I mean? And like every time.
So I sort of imagine them as being like people who have been around a 6-year-old who just asks why and what and who and everything, and they're trying to preempt that 6-year-old, and so they somehow like made it worse.
Oh my gosh!
Like that. So that was my thought process going into the host.
Awesome. Yeah, you definitely nailed that vibe for sure. That was one that I think came at the perfect time to have a piece of comedic relief after feeling so lost at sea in Outpost Z for so long. When you finally do get this communication, it was just a great, tension breaker or whatever. Like I thought it came at just the right time. Yeah, I love the NPC. So was there anything like, I don't know, an alien species or a location or event or even a character that you wanted to include but got left on the cutting room floor?
I'm trying to remember if anything major got cut out of this one. I think in this case, most of everything made it in. That's not always true. Like I mentioned on an interview on the Paizo Twitch that the Age of Ashes book that I recently wrote, an entire NPC wound up cut out of it. But I think everything major, made it in. There were some, really weird things that they got cut out and then put back in by either people at Paizo or in one particular case, Adam, put it back in. And I thought that was great because... you had mentioned that the guard at the front desk was just sort of surreptitiously watching television and not paying attention to anyone. And I had actually written in that they were, if the alarm level wasn't high, they were just sort of playing a video game on their phone.
Oh wow, really?
And then that got cut out, and then you just put it back in.
Yes.
Well, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to chalk that up for a win right there. Yeah. I had this perfect image of this, this guard who just didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like this moon at the outskirts of Aslanti star space. So in my mind, it wasn't like they didn't get a whole lot of action. You know what I mean? And so he was probably just bored. It's just a day in the life, you know. And that's really funny. I guess great minds think alike.
Yeah, and like before I had even given a whole bunch of names to all of the Zlanti there, and then I cut them out myself because I was running over on space, and then Jason Keeley, who was the developer on this adventure, put them all back in. So,
well, I just want to say we're very sorry for butchering all of your Aslanti names. We did it on purpose, but there's nothing personal, I promise. We just want to, like, really demean the Aslanti is all, you know.
You know, throw some, like, cultural slurs back at them.
Yeah.
What about fair play?
Exactly. So, I mean, you gotta do it. But speaking of Golta, was Golta originally planned to be like on a moon, or did you consider other options, like surely not another free-floating space station, right? Surely that was, once you have Zed, you don't need another one for Golta. But did you have any other ideas, maybe a giant ship or anything like that besides the moon?
Not for me, because by the time I had gotten like the outline for this project, it was titled "Escape from the Prison Moon."
Oh, okay.
So you sort of have made a promise in that title, and you'd better deliver.
Yeah. Okay, so the parameters were already set. I got you. Okay. Well, I think Adam has some questions concerning Golta.
Yeah, you know, obviously Golta is the centerpiece of book 2. And there's a lot going on with the prison and everything. And I'd like to discuss the alertness level system that is featured there at the moon. This set of mechanics tracks the level of awareness the guards have and also lays out their security response based on different levels of alertness. It kind of reminds me of something like Assassin's Creed. The interesting thing here is that the players are the ones who are changing this value, but are not privy to the extent of the consequences of each action. So my question is, how did you come up with the numbers around this, and what advice for balance do you have to GMs that would want to homebrew something similar to this in their games?
I mean, I just I've picked out like alertness levels and then tried to, like, the consequences were what I started with first.
Okay.
And then tried to spread it out over what I felt was a reasonable, like, number. Like, there's a better word for that, but it's escaping me at the moment. But just like
tiers, different tiers.
Yeah, try to spread it out so, you know, it's easy to get like in that middle zone, but then hopefully you don't like get above that. Now, I'm not sure if I should talk about balance here, because I'm not sure if anyone's actually managed to sneak through Golta yet.
Yeah, well, that was
everyone I've heard like tries it and winds up worse for trying it and then shoots their way out. But you know, I sort of attempted to try and make it so, you know, as long as you didn't get into any outright like fights, or which might have been my mistake on that part. As long as you don't like start shooting in the hallways, you probably shouldn't get in too much trouble. But you might like ramp up the tension a little. And I think Jason even expanded like the tiers because he felt like it went DEFCON, 5 a little too fast. Or DEFCON 1.
I mean, yeah, as it's printed in the book anyway, I mean, I thought it was a really fun system. It was stressful at times for to try to keep up with it and make sure that everything was going the way it should. But I think it was a really cool way to add tension to the scenario and really make it feel like a prison that's under watch, you know what I mean? And that there were consequences. It was not, or at least it wasn't necessarily designed to be a dungeon where you go room to room and mash and go to the next room.
Oh, yeah, it definitely wasn't.
And so it has this specialness to it because of the alertness system.
Yeah, I don't have anything against playing dungeon crawls, but I actually really don't like writing them, because you sort of have to keep, like, you sort of have to design it that way, that everything's very self-contained in a box, and try and balance, like, it's like, well, how many encounters do I think they've gone through, and do they just leave and rest and come back, and that sort of thing. When it came to Gulta, I was just... maybe I shouldn't admit to this, but I was just like, well, I'm gonna make what feels like a functioning prison, and the PCs will figure it out. Or they'll die. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I think you succeeded in that for sure, because the tension was certainly high, and there were consequences to every action that happens in the prison, and there is not an opportunity to leave and go rest and come back.
Can't tap out.
Yeah, like you got to get it done in a short amount of time. I think that all those factors made for a very unique experience for us anyways, is something we haven't really done before. And it created a month and a half, 2 months of strained friendships and stressed thoughts.
Oh, jeez. I feel kind of bad about that.
No, we're all friends now. It's all good. But
I'm listening to this podcast, and I hear some people starting to get really stressed. I'm like, oh, geez, I hope nobody had a bad day at work that day, and I'm just piling it on them.
Well, I honestly, I mean, despite it all, I think, us being so determined to get through it, despite playing on the back foot, I think really brought us together but it definitely challenged me as a player, like specifically Outpost Z and specifically Gulta challenged me as a player in a way that I've never been challenged before. So I want to give you props on that, because like you were saying, our group has primarily done dungeon crawly style encounters, you know what I mean? And you do get into a pattern with that where you like, okay, we can probably get 2, maybe 3 more rooms before we're going to be tapped out on resources, and we retreat back to the safe room that we found 3 or 4 rooms ago or whatever. And it's like, it is a very pattern style adventure basically, and Outpost Z was not that way at all, and Gulta was not that way at all, and we certainly had difficulty working our way through it, but it was a good kind of challenge because I wasn't ready for it, and it forced me to step up my game as a player. And so I think, as far as that goes, that was a success. I personally had an experience playing this that I haven't had playing other adventure paths or modules in 5e. So
yeah, I'm glad to hear y'all like it, because I knew going right in the thing that it was going to be challenging, especially Gulta, very challenging for the GM just to keep track of all that stuff, and challenging for the players because there's no one holding your hand through that dungeon. You have to come up with the plan to get in and get out.
Yeah.
Even if that plan collapses into shooting stuff, you have to plan how to shoot your way out then. But
yeah, there's a lot of last minute decisions that have to be made, Well,
there's a lot of variables that you as a player don't know going into it. You can make a plan, but the plan's only as good as, getting in the door, right? You can't possibly plan for their patrol routes, or how many guards are going to be where the prisoners are going to be, or what kinds of security systems are in place. So, there's hardly any way to get that kind of intel. I mean, certainly Bright has some of that, and Talmarin has some of that, but it's not like the kind of recon that I would want going in there, right? You know what I mean? Where I've got a map drawn out of all the
guardrails.
Yeah.
And you guys, I don't think, have an operative even. You don't have no class.
There was such interesting makeup going into it, because they basically had to give up their soldier and their technomancer, which is what they need if stuff goes sour, or they need their technomancer to kind of mess with the security stuff. Luckily, they had a mechanic that could do some of that. But yeah, it was really interesting setup given the party makeup and everything like that. And I just got to mirror Zach that I've never been challenged in this way as a GM, and it was a lot of fun to do something like that, and it makes me want to put these types of mechanics in a lot of scenarios to where there's a measurable way to keep up with what's happening outside of the player's view in the location that they're at. I thought that was just a really cool thing, and I was really excited to run it. I was really nervous about running it, but I think it came out pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just how much work you put into it, and you definitely put in that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a follow-up question, I guess, to this then is, when you design something like a Prison Break, and we talked about this a little bit, but before you heard people doing it or heard stories about people doing it, how much did you consider different options versus setting up a clear path to success? In other words, what other solutions did you have in mind possibly outside the fake prisoner trick?
Well, I mean, some of it would depend on your party makeup. Like, you guys actually had the most normal party I think I've seen going into Galta. Air quotes around normal, but
yeah.
like for a lot of people, this is their second AP. They played Dead Suns first, and so they want to go hog wild with the alien species, and so you have like a giant centipede with like a flaming plasma spear and an uplifted bear and like one of those weird starfish people. It's like kind of squishing around, and you're not gonna infiltrate very well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the most humanoid looking, right? Like,
yeah,
most of ours.
Like if you shop around, like I think you even picked up like that holographic projector, and Mike had a disguise that he didn't
Even
disguise himself.
Never used.
Yeah, but there were options like that to try and cloak, a lot of your not so human looking persons, and if you get enough of them looking like that, you can just sort of claim that this is our slave crew member, or we're just hauling them around. You don't need to do the fake prisoner gambit. There's also, like, if you go out the airlocks, there are ways to like blow up the generators and just shut down the power, which might be worse for you because they all have dark vision, but at the same time, like, they're all focused on getting that power back in, so that's a major distraction.
I didn't even think about anything like sabotaging their infrastructure. Like, no, we 100% committed to the Wookiee to prisoner. Like that was.
And
wow.
I think you did try some of like using the charm gems on the Insulanti, except they kept making their damn saves. But if you can, like, I've seen people say that they got it off as just like, double charming the person's like, where's all the cargo? You don't need to see the cargo. We can go about our business.
Yeah, I wish I would have. I just didn't trust the roles, I just didn't trust. I didn't want to, like, be conspicuous if I failed the role. And I ended up, obviously being conspicuous, failing the role. But that's what I didn't want to do.
I mean, there's a real risk with that sort of thing. But, yeah, just like having an operative or somebody with invisibility just, like, sneaking around in and out of the airlocks, going through the rooms, and that if it's low, like, if they're not that alert, they're pretty bored and not paying all that much attention to you. And there's some other distractions in there. I don't know how you handle, like, if you just left that Akeshti there.
Oh yeah, you haven't got to that part.
That poor sad Akeshti. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because you haven't given me the episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with that. So I don't know what happened there, but that's some potential. You can potentially do something there.
Yeah.
Like if you had managed to sneak into various rooms, I think Half-Red warned you about the sonic debilitators in the ceiling. Not that it helped you in your situation.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I hated those things so much. I really did.
I just listened to that episode where you're just like, you probably would have just done better shooting the warden, but you just got to blow the heck out of him.
He was so focused on like taking out this debilitator.
Yeah, that might have been the only real moment in the AP where I might have shaken my fist at the sky. Eleanor, damn it! Everything else is fine, but this. Wow.
Like I'm gonna say that the amount of time I put into that warden in general was not worth the grief she gave you.
I see. You're trying to put this back on me, Eleanor. I see how it is.
No. I guess I'm just saying that apparently envoy improvisations are good, or at least real annoying. Because it's just like, I'll pick out Watch Out. That seems good.
Well, the one that got me was Antagonize, which just seeing that on her stat block gave me such a vision of who she was as a person. Like, she has Watch Out and Antagonize. Like, those are the choices that she made as a warden. You know what I mean? Like, that's such an unnecessary choice as a warden, like, it's just mean. And so, like, I had it in my mind that she was definitely just a terrible, hateful person,
I mean, she's only the warden of, like, the literal Gestapo.
Right. Yeah. Well, that actually brings me to a question that I've really wanted to ask about. That I've just sort of noticed running Book 1 and Book 2, that despite being such unabashed fascists, the Aslanti are surprisingly feminist, with women holding many positions of power, like the captain or the commander of the ancient Aslanti ship carrying the rune drive, Lieutenant Sharu herself, and the warden on Gulta. So, considering how often fascism and patriarchy go hand in hand, was there any kind of conscious decision to portray the Aslanti as feminists, or at the least egalitarians?
I mean, I guess you could call it like a conscious non-decision. Like, we recognize that they did not have this patriarchal, like, sexism that usually goes along with fascism. Right. But it wasn't really like us going, well, there's some kind of deep-seated reason behind that. It was just more like we noticed it's not there, but we didn't want to put it in. Like, they were already sucked enough.
Yeah. Oh, sure. No,
they're equal opportunity sucking.
Yeah, they're equal opportunity fascists, and that's like something that I noticed. I was like, wow, it just seems so out of place, but I kind of get it. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, as long as you're Aslanti, it's all good. You know what I mean? That they don't have that patriarchal sort of sexism.
I guess they're technically more reasonable than a lot of fascists that we have.
Yeah, but they're still fascists, They're still getting their ass kicking.
At least they're not sexist fascists.
Yeah.
They got that going for them. That should be their new motto. Aslanti, at least we're not sexist.
God.
I mean, we could be worse. We could be devils.
That's true. Those
are sexist.
Well, that was, something that I thought was really interesting and a neat take on it, is that you did have some pretty badass, hard-ass fascist women that gave us a lot of trouble. You know what I mean? They certainly didn't, give us any freebies. Like, we had a tough time, I think, with both Sharu.
Bosses, yeah.
Yeah, with both Sharu and whatever her name is.
Will you say it for us?
I don't even remember it off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember if that was my fault or Jason's
something
fault.
Like
yeah,
that.
But Lustria or something like that.
Yeah.
Ariola Skrillex.
Skrillex.
Our affectionate name for her. So I remember that. I remember that.
I can think of a few other nicknames he gave her. There was some salty language getting thrown.
It definitely was. I think the party was more personally insulted by her than any other boss that we've faced. It was personal.
There isn't technically a rating between R and NC-17, but I feel like your podcast sort of like nudged itself up a bit for those two episodes.
Well, I'm sorry for that. We have never advertised ourselves as a kid-friendly show, or just safe for life. We've never. listen at your own risk is how we feel.
Right.
So.
There's emotions will be high, language will fly. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you especially have to watch Heath at times. I think Heath is, he has a colorful vocabulary.
Yes.
I love you, Heath, if you're listening. But yeah.
Well, he also has an intense emotional reactions to things.
Yes,
too, so.
Yes, especially the things that he doesn't like.
Yeah.
So sorry about it. Mike's a hard guy. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time, Eleanor. Are you involved in any? I think you've actually mentioned a couple of them, but what other APs or anything else are you currently involved in, or going to be involved in soon that you can tell us about?
So the one that I can tell you about is Age of Ashes for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. It's the first adventure path for that system. It came out around the same time as the module, which is called Plaguestone. So I think people have been sort of varying which one they decide they want to hop into first. But yeah, I did the second book for that.
Okay. Cool. And so for the stuff that you can't tell us about, can you tell us if it's going to be good?
Hopefully. Yeah. I don't want to jinx.
Sure. Well, honestly, we have really enjoyed your both your art and your literary works, and look forward to more of them in the future, and your insight for that matter. It's thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview with us. We certainly really appreciate it. It's been great picking your brain.
Yeah, again, thanks for having me. Like, you know how it's everybody's dream to just blab on about their character, and usually when you corner somebody, they all sort of groan and wish for death. But yeah, it's good to hang out with people who actually, enjoy talking about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Adam and I, I've GM'd some games, so I'm also interested in that aspect of the game, and I just really like talking about RPGs and game systems too.
Well, and we really did enjoy this book a lot. I mean, it was tough, but man, it really just created something special for all of us that I don't think any of us will ever forget. And so thank you for that, and then thank you for all this great insight on it. We really appreciate having you on this new show, being our first guest on our new show. So
yeah, I'm just really enjoying your show, following along, getting to see people react to what I wrote. Which, I mean, it's not as common as you think.
It's really not. That's like, I know we discussed it earlier, but it's got to be a really cool perspective to get to do that. Actually hear it played out. It's kind of like, I guess, if you're a playwright watching or the different interpretations of your play or something like that. I gotta imagine that's the closest. The
different personalities, different perspectives, different characters going into it.
Yeah, that is unique to I think an RPG, right? To see the player input into what you've already set up. Okay, all right. We're going to go too long. We got to call this. Thanks so much. Come back sometime, Eleanor. We'll talk again. So.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I actually haven't read the third book yet, so I'm going in as blind as you guys are.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, well, you're going to be learning it with us then, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, I had to go and read that book sometime, and then what you guys do in the podcast, I figured, hey, I'll just go into it blind like you guys do.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we hope to delight and entertain going into book 3. Adam, don't fuck it up.
Okay.
All right. With that note, again, thank you so much, Eleanor. Everyone listening, thanks so much for listening. Y'all have a great evening. Be good to each other. We'll see you. Can we all do a we'll see you? Eleanor, you want to join us?
All right.
Yeah. All right. 1, 2, 3. We'll see you.